But is it too
It
legit to quit?
it's well, are we talking about ACX or Audible's? Excuse me, ACX's latest agreements, or are we talking about Kindle's latest agreements?
I don't. We're not supposed to be angry all the time, are we? I mean, damn.
Damn.
Because yeah, I clearly they shenaned once. They are going to shenan again and again and again.
Well, now they're going to allow you if you well, you're not allowed if you do not are you if you're not Amazon exclusive and or excuse me, if you do not enable Amazon's DRM, your book will be available as ebook and PDF.
I don't really see a problem with that.
It is very interesting because people are like, wait a minute, we can't do this. People will be able to pirate like crazy.
Are you kidding? They could have
That
done it
never
already if you didn't have
changed.
DRM. Even when you had DRM, they could go ahead and remove
Yeah,
it.
it's not real
This is
tough.
this is a
Yeah,
non-issue.
that's not the issue. I think the bigger. Yeah, there are too many battles to fight.
No,
I gotta pick and choose.
I thought it was interesting because I wonder if they're going to say that that's use that as a you know reason why they're not a monopoly is they're no longer using a monopolistic format.
That is
That
not going
doesn't
to help
fly.
them at all.
No,
That's
I
not
know.
going to do anything.
No, but it
no,
looks
it's
good from a PR perspective. Is my point.
It's
So
too
we'll
late
to
for
an
see.
PR to
idiot.
do anything to save them.
It looks good to somebody who's clueless.
That's
Sure.
what I'm saying. Well, that's 95% of the populace when it comes to what we do.
Well, okay, yeah, but not to the folks who are going to who are using it to sell their stuff.
Mm.
And it's
I just wonder what triggered it because the only thing I can figure triggered it is it was a PR move. That's the only thing I can think. I heard that, or they're afraid that the EPUB standard is going to come out with something that they can't do in the current standard, which is also possible.
Well, nobody reads in PDF. No one. It's just utterly stupid. You can't reflow the text. It isn't happening. So that's a non-issue.
It's a crap way, unless they're going to print it. Then you're going to print it, and it's going to be printed in very tiny print. It'll be really interesting. Sung to Party All the Time by Eddie Murphy. Okay, fine, chat. Fine.
oh, so really weird thing happened. So did groceries this morning. And so I'm leaving the grocery store, grab my bags, park in the cart, and there's a woman who's going in, and she's got you know, she has a T-shirt that says Gen X, raised on hose water and neglect, etc. And I'm like, I like your shirt. I tell her, I was like, hey, I really like your shirt. And she goes, oh, do you identify? And I'm like, do I not look it? Yeah. I'm like, do I not?
No.
I was more scrubbed out than this. It was like, ponytail and
What
that.
does that mean? Do you identify in connection with the shirt? What's the connection? I'm not seeing it.
Because
That's a Gen
okay,
X thing.
so are you part of are you part of Gen X? But as identify, I'm thinking, does that mean I don't look it? Does that mean that it's like, so you just you get that vibe even though you might be a little too young for it?
So
And I'm like,
maybe she was
weird.
implying that, you don't look like you belong in that, but maybe you identify as it,
yes,
even though you're
yes,
outside of it.
it,
Yeah.
like you look a little too young to be that weathered and seasoned.
I
And
run
I'm
into that
thinking,
problem all the time.
it's amusing.
I mean, once upon a time, Terry had a hair color other than white. Once upon
Yeah.
a time.
I was gravely offended when my wife went ahead and filled out my renewal for my driver's license, but my hair color is gray. This was not a good time for me.
God.
Yeah.
I'm going there with you, Bubba. I'm going there with
I'm
you.
I seriously, I am eagerly anticipating because the ones I have right now, they're like, there's a nice like witchy vibe going, and I am here for it. I'm like, okay, faster, but let's just get it done and over with. Go, you know, get through. Oh,
At least your hair color isn't quote unquote gone.
or NA.
Or NA, yeah, NA, hair color, NA.
Or really, I mean, would you go by eyebrow color then?
I don't know if you would or not. What if you shave your eyebrows? No, this is getting too complicated. Howdy, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Dead Robot Society. I am Paul D. Cooley. Joining me as always today, Veronica Jaguar and Mr. Terry Mixon. How the hell are you, fine folk? I have not spoken with you in what seems like a very long time.
2 weeks is a long time.
It's a long time. Well, I can see Terry's just in the mood.
You're supposed to,
it's the first day of Christmas. You're supposed to have, love in your heart and all that kind of stuff.
It's the first day of Christmas
How is
and
it the
Santa
first day of
gave to me. Crap.
It is
How is it-
12 days before Christmas.
That's 12 days before Christmas. The 12 days of Christmas start
12
on
days of Christmas.
and
Right.
it
And 12
starts
days
on
from now is
Christmas.
Christmas Day.
No, 12 days of Christmas starts on Christmas and it goes through Three Kings Day.
Oh, it was the other way around.
Nope.
This is why I hate Christmas. There's all this bullshit associated with it that's just, why the fuck? Anyway, Veronica, how the hell are you?
Terry is so old he went to his podcasts in the snow uphill both ways.
Totally true.
It was really tough. In the old days, his mic was just a club.
All right. Not to interrupt Veronica here, but let me tell you about going to school both ways.
Oh no, here we go. Here we go,
kids. Here we go. I played a baritone saxophone in school, middle school and high school. And I lived in the country at the back end of a 2-mile dirt road. And I had to carry all my books and a baritone saxophone 2 miles up and down that dirt road early. And it was not fun. Not fun at all. So there.
And now we have another brief moment into Terry's mind and all that's wrong there. All the furniture's moved around because
careless whisper.
Oh God, why did you say that?
Because he said saxophone. That's what comes to mind when someone says saxophone.
I can think of better things to think of when there's saxophone. So now every time that you hear a saxophone, your legs go, your muscles start tensing and you start getting pain.
I don't miss the saxophone at all. Not at all. I was not that great of a player. I did not have the soul of a musician.
Back to you, V. What the hell were you going to say?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, I've been writing. I am closer to finishing my manuscript by the end of the year, so yay. I'll finish the book that's supposed to be released in April, probably by this week. I think, well, before the next show, which is nice. I think there may be 2,000, 3,000 words to go to wrap it up, which is nice. I checked out a new to me local bookstore. Well, local meaning it was in Orlando last week, and that was fun. Full up only romance, and it was their 1-year anniversary, so they were having all of these events and signings. And I chatted with an author who she was doing a signing. It was her first book, and it was a delightful conversation. Her stuff is in KU. I'll put for those who like dark romance and sports and stuff. It's on my TBR. I'm going to burn through it. I'm saving up all of my reading for that nebulous time between Christmas and New Year's, so I could
dead week.
Yes. I bought 4. I bought 4 books, and then because it was their 1-year anniversary, they gave stuff away. And proof that a cover and a title will sell a book. So one, I was looking for hockey romance. Found an author that I know who writes accurately. And I was like, okay, so if I read this and then my daughter steals it, I have no problem because the writing is good. And then I was like, okay, I'll check out some other stuff. And then I saw this one book, and the title was called Bourbon and Lies.
Interesting.
And it's got great font, very stylized cover. It looks like, people are sitting in a dark, smoky corner. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So from this bit, if it's not in Kentucky and if it's not some kind of dark legacy romance, I don't want it. I flipped the book over, and the first line on the blurb says, in Fiasco, Kentucky, family is. And I'm like, that's it. Mine. Didn't even open it. Didn't check it. Like, I grabbed that. And then if there was ever any doubt that I have the best spouse ever, he goes, are there two more? I'm like, oh yeah, it's a trilogy. Well, why aren't you getting the other two? Why didn't I get the other two?
Why didn't you?
So I got the other two. So I have literally a stack of books that's about that high that I have to burn through. Because dark romance featuring bourbon in Kentucky was like, yep, I need that right now. Thank you. And evidently it's a local author because they're all autographed copies.
Oh, so, nice.
Huzzah. So yeah, that's pretty much been my week, 2 weeks. So bookstores and writing, trying to record, putting out auditions, sorry, so we've gone with another narrator for your book. And so we keep going and going and going.
Well, hopefully that gets better.
I would like it to. Hopefully it will.
Just keep in mind it's December. It's December where people rarely answer or make decisions.
True. And I know that. So it's just it's a building sort of month. But I have pickups to do for Empire Reborn, which is nice. So yeah.
What schmuck wrote that book?
I don't know. I'm surprised there weren't more cats in it.
I need more cats. I need to write a space opera that's from the point of view of cats. Nothing but cats.
I can't believe you haven't already done this.
I mean, it would be like the Warriors series meets space opera. And I truly think there's, like, if you ever need to write YA stuff, Terry, you would corner that market right there. Cats in space.
Well, Terry, what have you been up to?
I don't want to talk about it.
As you can tell, Terry's still in the throes of Home Improvement 101, or is it this way? At this point, is it 5001?
You obviously have not been watching the DRS.
Oh yes, I have.
Channel of all the various things. Let's see. Since Monday, so not even the full 2 weeks that we've been gone. Since Monday, I have had a big old spot of skin taken off of the back of one leg so it could be sent off for a biopsy. It's not going to be anything dangerous. The doctor already said that he didn't think that it was an issue, but just to be safe, they're going to do it anyway. So they cut off a big old hole out of that. I had 3 crowns done because that's always fun. And those were on the same day, mind you. The window guy came out to do the install on the upstairs windows. He was supposed to do that last week, but canceled out, so we had to leave all of the cats that are upstairs down in my wife's office, which they have utterly destroyed. So there's things down there that human beings were never meant to see that she's going to have to go in and clean up.
Oh my God.
With the windows installed up here, it's too bright. I mean, holy Jesus, sunlight's coming in this window, but there are problems. When they came in to install them, they didn't clean up very well. So I'm still finding bits of glass in various places upstairs. So I'm not happy about that. One of the new upstairs windows apparently lost its seal because even though they're 2-pane and it's supposed to be protected, it has issues with fogging over when it's warm inside and cold outside. One of the other windows has scratches on it that he could not get out with a razor blade. So it's not just goo on there. There's something else going on. And when they installed it, they tore one of the screens. So there are still repairs that have to be done with that. In addition to that, our refrigerator died.
Oh, no.
So we've got the replacement in for that yesterday. On the same day that the refrigerator died, the AC thermostat died as well. Thankfully, that was at least under warranty. What else? I'm sure there's something else that's been going on in this last week. What else could have been going on? That's all I can remember, but I'm sure there was more. But it's been a hell of a week.
Wow.
So whoever out there has the Terry Mixon voodoo doll, put it down.
Put it
Stop.
down. Take out the needles. The damage has been done. He got the message, I think. Maybe. You know what? You may have to visit him again next year. But, you know, at this point, you're just using too many needles. I mean, come on. I'm sorry to hear all of that, Terry.
Ho, ho, ho.
Let's see. I have been writing sporadically. I've been taking care of animals. I've had to take one to the vet almost every day. Well, 2 days this week and 1 day last week, just for checkups and stuff. Although Violet had a fat tumor that had to be removed, or not removed, but aspirated, and we got to keep an eye on that, make sure it doesn't get out of control. And Shadow is no longer thin; he is now fat. So we have to put both cats on weight management. This is the one that was almost died of emaciation a couple years back. Now he's plump. So
Keep
we got to
the
go
plump
through
kitties.
that. I said sporadically, not spasmodically, although in my case, they're probably the same thing, Rick. Anyway, what else has been going on? We finally got the last piece of the estate figured out and fixed, so I'm done as an executor. Thank Christ. So I no longer have to worry about that happy horse shit. And we have to have a faucet installed this next week, and I have a feeling there's a couple things that are probably going to happen on Tuesday that may really fuck my week up, but we'll see how things go. Just health stuff.
Okay.
Not with me, with others.
Ah.
So we'll see. Anyway, that's what's been going on with me. Besides trying to find something that matches what was asked in a topic on Discord. And if Discord will behave. This, of course, came from Xander.
Oh, well, that explains everything.
The topic title is Not Just a Monster, but a Divine Punishment. It says, you know how in some horror monster stories, the monster is less a force of nature, but ties into the character's ethical/moral failings, and it feels more like karmic justice than a misfortunate situation. Terry's Week Eagle, one of the few things that made Mind City pretty much okay.
I'm glad I was able
now,
to
here's the kicker. How would y'all go about such a thing? How would y'all tie in the horrors and monsters with the ethical/moral flaws and failures of a character or cast of characters?
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one. I came up with a couple of examples. Not, they're horror movies, of course. But one example that really jumped to mind is Smile. The two movies are quite good. Some of the best horror that's been made this century, as far as I'm concerned. But what's interesting is the demon that actually causes all this crazy shit to happen seems only to prey on those who have witnessed or feel guilty about somebody dying in their past. They either truly believe at some level that they killed them or that they're responsible for that person dying. So the demon can only attach to people who are damaged in a certain way, which is really interesting because it explains the demon's proclivity for jumping from certain people to certain people. The demon chooses them, is how that works. So what is the karmic justice that goes around? I guess you get to experience horror before you die because you were a bad bitch and killed somebody? I don't know. That was the big one that I could come up with. We could argue that one all day, but you have to see the You have to see the films to quite understand. I'm certainly not going to spoil either of them. But it did also prey upon pride. It preyed upon prideful people. It preyed upon people who had the arrogance of rationality. It preyed upon those types of personalities because they were very easy to destroy. And I think that's really, really cool. Because I've never really analyzed it that way until this question got asked. But that's one that I've got. Another one would be, in a way, Sartre's No Exit, where you have three people who are stuck in eternity with one another. And the karmic justice is that a philanderer, neither woman will sleep with him. One of the women hates men, and she's stuck with this guy for eternity. And then there's the third one who's basically, I can't remember what her archetype is or what it is about her. I think she was somewhat lesbian. I can't remember. Regardless, it made a... Do you remember? Have you ever read this, Veronica?
No.
No? Damn.
No.
I'm trying.
But I mean, the premise of the premise of enduring horrible things until you potentially learn your lesson, that's not new.
No.
But a lot of it either gets played as comedy, it gets played as kind of a wry life lesson, or it gets played as horror. And you have your varying stages. Like if you want comedy, you got Groundhog Day.
True.
And
True.
you could technically, you could take that entire idea and have it be horrible. Maybe at the end of every day, maybe at the end of every day,
he dies again, but knows it.
Dies horribly. And he goes through anticipating how awfully he's going to die.
And when.
Like maybe he's just avoiding little bits. So you've got notes of like Final Destination in with Groundhog Day. That would be a great tagline. Groundhog Day meets Final Destination in Puxatawny Phil's Revenge.
God, now I need to write this.
But that's the thing. It's that, once you finally learn, and maybe the kicker is once he finally learns, he just dies in his sleep. He finally gets the rest that he needs rather than going on to live another day. Who knows? If you want just your standard kind of horrible, but morality tale, you've got A Christmas Carol, which could easily be played up in horror, except they gave Scrooge a happy ending in it, where it's like, oh, and I shall keep Christmas in my heart every day.
And then he dies of a heart attack because he was an asshole.
Not the Muppet version.
That's my Scrooge version. Scrooge came to mind as well, because if the demons or ghosts, if you want to call them that, are all punishing him for certain sins. Mm-hmm. And each of them is showing his sins and giving, and by the time he gets to the third, he's already beyond rattled. And then you get to the third one, and that's pretty much the end of that personality, of that part of his personality dying.
Yeah.
You're right. If you extrapolate from that, horrible shit could be happening to everybody around him, including him, and he has to just keep living through it and living through it and living through it and living through it. And then gets snuffed by, dropping piano or something. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that piss the reader off? And I think that those are some good examples of the karmic thing. But the Greeks had also the idea of karma, and so does many other cultures, as far as fate, wielding things and you pissing off the gods or catching their attention. Even catching their attention could be bad. Mm-hmm. So demonology and everything else, there's no reason why you can't have a cadre of things that are basically, this person is doing stuff, it gets to a point where whatever it is that they've done, or however many things that they've done, they get punished in the same way that they hurt somebody else or did something else. Maybe they're a thief and stuff gets stolen from them. Maybe they beat somebody up, they get trashed. Stuff like that coming back at you. And if you wanted to go crazy with it, you do the ×3 rule, which is the witchcraft thing.
Or times 7.
Or
Depending
times
upon
7.
which. It gets 7 or
which.
3. Pick a number.
Yeah, thrice. Thrice sounds good. So whatever magic you commit against a person gets reflected back on you 3 times as bad. Is basically what it means, or the context. That's an interesting book to write, because how do you make this character likable if they're such a shitheel?
Do you have to make them likable? Or do you have to make them likable, or do you have to make them interesting enough for the reader to care about what happens? Because, and I've realized this through just a couple of the series that I've watched or read. Sometimes your interest in the character is not necessarily because you like them or because you're rooting for them in a positive manner. I can think of a handful of series that I am literally just waiting for that idiot to get their comeuppance. I am waiting for that guy to get shanked in his bed because he's sleeping with his wife's sister. I'm waiting. And I'm pretty sure the sister is going to do it because he's a jerk and he deserves it. But I'm not going to read ahead. I'm just going to kind of hope and wish that comes around, because that would be karmic retribution based on all the horrible things that he's done.
Right.
Do I like him? No. But I sure as hell like what could happen to him. And so I'll keep reading.
If you have somebody like that who's got a secret life and doing all these terrible things, maybe he's got 3 or 4 women that he's, seeing in addition to his wife, and lying to everybody. There's nothing that says a certain entity couldn't just start whispering to somebody, hey, do you know what's going on? And have it slowly fall apart. Or like in Needful Things, what that would do is the demon in Needful Things would set it up so that the people that he's doing this to would start killing one another, leaving him as the center focal point and somebody else to kill him. That would be an interesting way to do it too. I tried to watch the modern Krampus, this latest one that was done.
And?
Really couldn't get into it, and the ending was kind of sappy, but what did you expect? It's a PG-13 movie. It had some horror elements, though. It had some good horror elements, but I didn't really care for it.
So it wasn't horror, but did you see the Mel Gibson version where he's Santa?
No. Is that the action movie?
It was an action movie. So it was quite different.
I'm sure it was quite different. Never suspected Santa Claus was a sociopathic nutcase.
You never suspected that Santa Claus was a special operator, was a spec ops guy.
That is the most ridiculous bullshit I've ever fucking heard in my life. Spec ops didn't exist when Santa Claus came into being. So explain this one to me.
Santa's got a deal. He's allowed to do what he wants to do. If he goes ahead and helps out the U.S. Special Forces get into places that they couldn't otherwise get into, and takes care of problems that they can't solve.
Anyway, I'm not surprised you like this film. This really
it was good.
Shouldn't shock me. Yeah,
it was good.
Oh, where's it? The final groundhog. Where Tosh says, I love Joker. I wouldn't be in the same city as him. Yeah, Joker is one of those things that could also be an Avenger in a way, for carrying out certain sins in certain ways, because he's chaos. I don't think he's evil. He's just chaos.
Right. There is a code of sorts.
Yeah, it's indecipherable to us, but it is there.
Right.
It's inconsistent at times, but he is there. That would be a good one. Ooh, right, DC, man. That would be a good one. They've probably already written it like 42,000 years ago. Because there's only a billion different issues of Joker or Batman or whatever.
Right.
Xander, are you actually in here? If so, let us know. This is your topic, damn it.
Somehow I don't think so. I'm going to start to dry, sadly.
Well, the force of nature question interests me, or the way he put monsters as forces of nature.
Well, I mean, you can have an antagonist that is, climate, or just a person versus the environment, and the
It's
environment
indiscriminate.
It's indiscriminate. It's completely out to get them. So, but I think in that case, you wind up, it's two things. You have your environment, or your indiscriminate evil, working against your protagonist. And then you have to decide if your protagonist is actually going to learn something by the end, or if they're going to reject that learning in like the vein of the tragic hero.
Or get swallowed. It's always possible too.
That's the thing, is if the indiscriminate horror succeeds, does it succeed at the expense of the hero winning?
What's winning? Define that.
Exactly.
So like, very complicated situation.
So learning. So like, if they finally learn something, or they go through their whole character arc and evolve, then even though they've changed for the better, do they live long enough to enjoy that better?
That's a really good question. Things you can ask about your story, that's for sure.
Yes.
Natash says, I'm currently working on a series where it's dual gender POV, and each has gained the interest of an eldritch horror, but in malevolent and romantic manners, potentially Ultimate Beauty and the Beast. Ooh. I don't want to have tentacle sex with an eldritch being. That sounds horrible.
What is a dual gender POV?
I believe you have a male POV and a female POV. Am I correct in that?
But I mean, is this a single person? I'm trying to get my head wrapped around what it is. No, it's not a single person.
Not a single person. Not a single person. At least.
Okay, so all you're saying is there's 2 point of view characters.
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure if I was missing the meaning there.
At least I hope I didn't. That's right.
I read a story. There was a Traveler plot hook that somebody put out there, that they had a pair of clones that were gender swapped as antagonists in this. So you got the clone, one female, one male, but they're the same person. And I was like thinking that. I'm like, is this something like that?
Not a single person. It's a married person. I'm going to let that one go. Matt says, on the subject of Cole, the woman handling my physio is called Cole, C-O-L-E, Nicole, but her surname is Wintersmith, so Cole Wintersmith. What a cool name for a D&D dwarf. That is an awesome name for a dwarf.
That is. That's a good name.
I like that. Yes, to show the different ways in which a male and a female respectively would interact with two separate eldritch beings and the intricacies therein. Okay, I get it. I get it. That's cool. You'll have to let us know when you finish that, because now I'm curious. Very curious. I like the idea, though. That's something I wanted to play with in Garaga, and I think I still have a chance to do it with Colette. I just haven't written the scenes with her and the Marquis de Sade yet. I haven't written those. I need to. They'll be glorious, and no one will ever read my work again. At least not my normal audience, let's put it that way. What other karmic justice kind of things do we have?
It's payback time, Dread. No?
No. 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 I'm trying to think of fantasy kind of things, and it all comes back to gods and goddesses.
Well, no, I don't think. I think you can, if you are looking at, if you're looking for karmic payback, I think the two examples that come to mind, tragedies, obviously, but one's Oedipus Rex, because you have a very unhappy ending foretold by fate that you can't avoid. And then you've got Hamlet, where as much as you try to escape this fate, even a words are hard. Even a supposedly simple act or inconsequential act winds up having huge repercussions, and somebody goes and drowns in a lake pond.
One kiss is all it takes. It's a pond.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, Xander. See, Matt says
Xander's finally here. We've been answering his questions, for half an hour, and he's only just showing up. I mean, really.
Matt says, I like the idea of a dual gender story version of a sliding doors type story. Same story told chapter by chapter. First, if the protagonist was male, then female, vice versa. Yeah. I gotcha. Did Hamlet really try that hard to escape his fate? Rick asks. I don't think escape may be the right word. But when he's on the fence, he stays on the fence the whole goddamn play until finally he pushes himself into a decision, which is not so much his decision as it's when he kills Polonius that the decision is made for him, in my humble estimation, the way I remember that play. So I wouldn't say he tried to escape his fate. He tried to forestall it. But I think we know from the first couple of scenes that this guy is ultimately going to kill his dad. There's no question. It's just the only question is when and how far is this going to go?
Mm-hmm. And who else is going to suffer for it?
Let's see. Ratash says, many nice birthday parties for kids turn. Horrific when the other takes the spotlight and gets vindictive against the adults and kids that mock her. Rick says Hamlet seemed like he was psychotic the entire time. I think psychotic is the wrong word.
Seems legit.
No. Well, maybe. If you want to argue that the ghost of his father was just his brain tweaking around, I guess I could see that. If he had psychosis. Never thought of that before. Now you disturb me, Rick, with that. I'm now going to have to go read the play again and see if that fits. That's a terrible thing. What do we got here? 38 minutes. I guess we can jump into this too. You're sorry. Yeah, you should be, Rick. Dark fantasy, also known as horror and fantasy, or how to weaponize and apply horror effectively in any genre. How would you all turn the promise fantasy gives us, magic's fantastical, absurd worlds, settings, and adventure, and evoke a true sense of horror within that promise, going beyond the aesthetics and boiling down the utilization of horror and fantasy or any other genre, like horror romance or cozy horror? Cozy horror? There is such a thing?
Yeah.
Is that like cozy suspense?
I don't know, but I'm going to guess that cozy horror is one that is not so striking. It's more creeping, and it's like in a very restricted area. It's all a laid back story, but even the horror is kind of laid back, if you know what I mean. That's going to be my guess.
Not as much dread.
Right.
Cozy horror is a real thing. I had to Google it too.
One of the things that I think you could do with things like fantasy or other genres to evoke horror in settings like that is to find elements of them and then take them to their logical extremes. And what I mean by that is you've got magic in fantasy. If you want to have horror in fantasy, you take someone using magic to take it a few steps beyond what anyone else would do and evoke certain elements of it that are horrific, that are dreadful, that are abhorrent. And you could do that with almost any genre. If you take like a detective in a crime series and you take him where he becomes a vigilante, you're taking what he does and you're taking it a step further. You're taking it a step further. You take whatever logical conclusions you can get from whatever genre setting you're looking at and look for elements that you can just take to a logical extreme that is going to take it one step beyond what it should have been.
And I always thought of dungeon crawling as horror anyway, for me personally, because you're typically in enclosed spaces. The things you encounter are not human, and they could sneak up at you at any moment because this is the place they live. You are interlopers in that area. And so it automatically gives me the tingles when, oh, we're going to go spelunking in this cave. You're stupid. What is wrong with you? You don't know what's in there. That can work in any genre, but I always thought dungeon crawling that way. Always thought of it that way. Because things come out and play when you don't expect them to. So yeah, you can easily put a horror in fantasy. What if the magic, every time you use the magic, something horrible happens, like a strip of your skin gets ripped off your flesh?
Well, Brothers Grimm, anybody?
Yeah, exactly.
If you go back to like your original fairy tales, you've got Cinderella's sisters literally slicing off pieces of their foot to fit into a glass slipper.
Yep.
Rumpelstiltskin's just ew.
Yeah, just a big ew.
Rapunzel also. So I don't think it's too big of a stretch to go from, to include horror in your fantasy.
Right.
Yeah.
Xander says, Dungeon Crawler Carl. God, I have so many problems saying that for some reason. Doesn't feel horror for me, but their other book, Kaiju Surgeon. Fuck, that is one unsettling, horrific book. Interesting. I would never use magic if that happened. Matt says, you go spelunking in a cave and suddenly find yourself in a dark 10 by 10 foot passage. Party groans. I thought for a moment there you were going to do a Zork reference. Maybe you did. Maybe that was what. Locke says, that's how my grandma told me the stories. Your grandma told you the original Brothers Grimm? Your head must be a wonderful place to hang out in.
See, then there are those of us who didn't see the need to ask permission to check things out in the library and just grab stuff and read it. And
yeah.
All I'm saying, the original Bambi.
Yeah.
Not for children at all.
No, it's not for children. There's so many things that have been turned into kids' books that do not belong as kids' books and stories.
Or like your original Hans Christian Andersen stuff. Damn.
What was he, a thief
the
or
original
something?
Little Mermaid. There are no singing fish. Thank you.
Yep, with intestines and all. Oh my Lord! Wow.
Yeah.
We need to hang out.
I think. Actually, I think if you want a good example or like kind of an entry into tales with karma with horror elements, go back to your like early fairy tales.
Yeah. Because
there's so much writing that was meant to teach a lesson. It was meant to scare the shit out of you. And
If you look at vampires, it's basically don't go out with men, single men, don't men you don't know or whatever else. Werewolves, men can go crazy. You have to basically try and tame that or leave society. There's
And
yeah.
now we've evolved to, but I want to follow the dark creepy man into the castle. Or one werewolf, how about 6? It's just, yeah.
Well, it's like men with aliens. Aliens land. The first question is gonna be asked: Can I have sex with it? Can I? Is there a way to have sex with it?
Yes,
if you're dedicated enough, the answer is always yes.
This little piggy went to market and got slaughtered.
Mm-hmm.
Matt says, I wonder where the brothers Grimm, the source for the modern meaning of Grimm. Were they? Okay.
Good question.
Huh. I had never considered that. I think it's more related to grimoire, which is an alchemist thing, if I remember correctly. Book of spells.
Nope. It predates that. I'll good old Merriam-Webster. I'll go throw that link into the Discord live for those.
The brothers Grimm, Jacob and Wilhelm, did not choose their surname. It was their family name, originating in the old Germanic roots, meaning mask, helmet, fierce, and stern.
Interesting.
Yep. The actual word Grimm was used as early as the 12th century. Wow. Those gentlemen were far later than the 12th century.
Yes. Interesting. I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. Old High German, yeah. Huh. Regardless, there's lots of evil shit that was put out in the 1800s and 1900s that we are still like... We've turned them into archetypes of romance. We've turned them into archetypes of excitement, being able to do superhuman strengths, and how cool would it be to have these powers and everything else. We defanged the vampires, and we took away the wild of the werewolf in a lot of ways. Which is why I'm so excited by something like The Strain, where the vampires are just in fucking human in how they feed and how they do everything. They're not the Dracula sitting in the dark brooding with his trench coat wrapped around them. It's just not what they are. They're just brutal, mean, nasty. Mm-hmm. They have a plan and they're executing it.
Literally.
Let's see. Xander says, speaking of vampires, I just finished season 1 of What We Do in the Shadows. I've never watched the show. I don't know much about it.
You would probably enjoy it. You'd have a what the is this? But you'd probably enjoy the absurdity of it.
Ah, I gotcha. Can Jesus be a karmic monster? Vox asks. Jesus be a karmic monster. What if instead of making the bread and fishes appear, he starts taking it away? What if instead of raising the dead, he basically just walks up to them and makes them even more dead or obliterates them? Or what if he doesn't heal people but actually makes them sick? He did say, drink of my blood and eat my flesh. Yeah, there's some cannibal jokes and theories running around if you go looking hard enough.
I think if you look at a lot of religions and belief systems, there's a very fine line with what is benevolent and what is seeking retribution. But I think that's
a good way of putting it.
But it's also because in a lot of polytheistic religions and belief systems, your major deities do have a duality to. I bit my tongue. They have a duality to them. Yes. So there is a light and dark side, and there's not. And while there are entities that are tricksters or who are evil, or who actually not even evil, who just they like to watch the world burn. There may not necessarily be someone who is completely bad or just the embodiment of evil, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Can there really be an embodiment of evil just as can there be an embodiment of good?
Yeah, I think so. I think, but it's good and evil are still very nebulous terms.
Yes, they
and
are.
What are you going to? What constitutes evil? What constitutes good? What is seen as good? What is seen as evil?
Well, that's the thing. There's no true binary.
No, there's not.
When you start really dissecting things, binary goes out the window to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
Matt says, as a voice actress, does biting your tongue count as a workplace accident?
I wish.
I'll be biting my tongue all day long.
I wish. Although I do count trips to the dentist as professional development and maintenance.
Sounds right. Sounds good to me.
The only way I can get myself to go.
Evoke a true sense of horror within the promise of magic.
Well, there's a lot of that. It's just, I think some of that involves making a promise or a trade, and then the realities of that trade being far worse than anybody imagined. So, what magic always comes at a cost. What's the true cost?
It's blood.
What
It's always blood. It always has to be blood.
is it? Your blood? Is it the blood of somebody you care about?
It just needs to be blood.
But there's the thing. Maybe at some point it's like, well, of course, take me. Oh, we can't. That's not part of it. You have to choose. And here are your choices. Who do you love the least? Who are you willing to sacrifice? Keeping in mind that in 10 years, you're going to have to pick from the other two.
Box says Faust still lives. I was just thinking of Faust, actually. If you don't know the story of Dr. Faust, go look it up. It's pretty goddamn old. It's basically a treatise on knowledge being evil, or the quest to knowledge leading to evil, which is a really simple way of putting it, but that's the kind of way I think about it. There's a certain level of that in the story. So go read it, or go watch it. Somebody has to have it out there.
Oh, probably.
Matt says, I think the whole what's good and what's evil is on the same level as, is it porn or is it art? Hard to define exactly, but you know it when you see it. Yeah, because your ethics and morals get completely thrown out the window. Or get violated in some way that is loathsome to your very core. And that's a relative thing, because not everybody's built the same way. Not everybody has the same morals and ethics. If they did, this would be a very interestingly boring world. We wouldn't need a whole lot of laws.
Yeah, and not everyone experiences consequences the same way either.
This is true. If you don't experience consequences, then you don't have anything stopping you from being whatever you want to be. Which I think is a very dangerous place to live.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to say no to you every once in a while, period. If not, then you believe your own bullshit and bad things happen.
Yeah.
I like the ideas of horror, though. That was horror and fantasy. I hadn't really thought about that too much, but that's pretty much what I do with Garaga.
Yeah, it's way closer than most people believe. I know I've mentioned this plenty of times before, but horror is not confined to one setting. Horror is an emotion, a feeling. Oh my gosh, Terry's disappeared.
What the heck is this?
Terry has had enough of our bullshit.
What the heck? I don't know what the heck that is, but it needs to go away.
Now act like you can't hear him. What
Hello?
did you say, Terry? What?
Hello? Hello?
It's like he's almost in the room with us.
Terry vanished, bringing horror to the podcast. No, Xander, Terry was here. All right, here. Things are much better now. Liminal or cosmic horrors. Man, okay. So one of my faves, I probably talked about this before, and this is tangential to this. One of my fave D&D campaigns was called something in the mountains. It was a mashup of Gamma World and D&D. So basically, the D&D characters discover a crashed spaceship, which has all these crazy things and some robots that are still working, and they have no idea what the fuck they've just walked into. How could they? So immediately the questions are we dealing with gods? Are we dealing with, whatever is going on here? It depends on what the beliefs are. Then you start panicking, and you have all the elements of Eldritch horror story. It's just with technology instead of magic.
Yeah. I mean, like what I was about to say, horror is an emotion that's infused into the writing. You can put it in the past, the present, the future. While you can pair it with other emotional writing, like romance, it can get a little weird because not everybody wants they're emotional extremes. Not everybody wants that. Have I auditioned for ones that combine them? Absolutely. Was I picked? No. But because they're emotional extremes, it's hard to put them together. However, you have horror in fantasy. You have horror in contemporary. You have horror in sci-fi. Event Horizon, anyone? Oh my gosh, no. So, yeah, I don't need nightmares again. But excellent example. It's what themes do you need to put in there to evoke a sense of horror?
Yep.
Because you can have romantic fantasy, romantic science fiction, contemporary, and he's returned.
Ratosh says Stephen King considers himself a fantasy writer. He became indignant when fans attacked him for writing The Dark Tower. Yeah, Stevie has always been a fantasy writer of sorts. Always. Everything that he does with his monsters and everything else, it's all fantasy. And you could argue that most of the things that I do is fantasy as well, in that if you rip out the science fiction pieces. It doesn't surprise me that he would get indignant by that, but he's known as the master of horror because early on, The Shining and things like that, were so popular in the 80s and are still popular today.
But still, there are clearly fantastical aspects that just happen to scare the shit out of you.
It's magical realism if it was, flipped upside down and the magic is demon. So that's what part of it is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Chris says, "Welcome to Terry is really dark horror." I've heard interesting things from a friend of mine who's a Stephen King nut about Welcome to Derry. I haven't watched any of it.
It's on the Mighty Ginger's watch list because he's a huge Stephen King fan, and I'm not sure if my sister-in-law, who literally has a Stephen King book shrine in her house. I'm not kidding. Like she had a
She's
bookshelf.
one of those.
Yes, very much so, and she does not look it. It's great. You ask her, and she will just go. Like she has planned summer trips around going to the hotel that's featured in The Shining, and to going up to Maine and seeing all the different places. She is a diehard.
So she's been to the Stanley. It's called the Stanley Hotel is the real place.
Yes.
And that's just part.
Yes. Sorry.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
That was 2 summers ago, I think. But yeah.
Xander says there are some people out there that would claim that just because you have a strong adventure elements or strong romantic elements in your story that has a lot of horror themes, that it wouldn't be horror. Due to other genre conventions, themes might be stronger, more prominent. Yeah, where do you plant your flag? Yeah, it just depends on where you're planting your flag.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're getting all these questions, but you know what? It's time for us to close up shop. Already.
Oh my gosh.
Well, if you have a question or comment about this episode, you can visit our website at deadrobotssociety.com, punch that comment button and send us an email. You can go to YouTube, where you can like and subscribe to our channel, and where we are live every Saturday at 3 p.m. CST, except when we're not. Like and subscribe so you know when we're live. Leave the comment there. I'll be happy to answer it. And if you want to, you can join our Discord, which is down in the links there. And we'd be happy to have you in the madness that is our Discord, which is pretty nuts.
Mad?
It's madness, I tell you. And if you want to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/DebRobotS. I'm screwing this up all over the place. Patreon.com/DebRobotSociety or buymeacoffee.com/DebRobotSociety, where for as little as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive live shows like the one coming up in about 10 minutes. And at the $10 level, you get your name read. And our $10 patrons are... I can't believe I didn't have this. You know what? It reset my freaking filters. This really ticks me off, you know? And at the $10 level, you get your name read. And our $10 patrons are Juan Valentin, James Terrell, Antoine Batts, Lisa Slack, and Tim Niederreiter. Thank you to all of our patrons for making this show possible. And with that, we are going to get out of here. Thanks for devoting part of your afternoon to our madness and participating. It's always good to see you. And hopefully you'll have a great rest of your weekend and have a great week till we talk again next Saturday. Until then, go write something or,
Yeah,
whatever
go make
it is you
words.
do. Go make words.
Make words, make
Words
words,
are good.
make words.
Words are hard, but they're good.